Financier Bill Ackman reposted a chart showing how, over the past 25 years, the gap in political preferences between young men and women in America has nearly doubled. Women have radicalized sharply to the left. Men have stayed roughly where they were. Ackman asks, why did this happen? It's a great question. Most online answers I've seen are superficial, like women are more emotional or social media is evil, but few dissect the real mechanism. Let's try to unpack it ourselves. For a decade, we've been told that men are sharply veering right, and that it's dangerous, but the data shows the opposite. Men's views have barely budged, while women's have lurched left. The narrative pushed by mainstream media is the reverse of reality. When it comes to women's leftward shift, it's framed as progress, women becoming more educated, independent, enlightened. From that lens, the chart shows advancement. But that's nonsense. What's really depicted is a trap we've all fallen into. We'll get to the trap's mechanism soon, but first, this isn't unique to America, it's happening worldwide. Last year, the Financial Times published a chart showing the ideological gap widening in dozens of countries: the UK, Germany, Australia, Canada, South Korea, Poland, Brazil, even Tunisia. Young women are shifting left, men are either holding steady or moving right. This global trend suggests the causes aren't America-specific, not Title IX, Me Too, or campus culture wars. It's something bigger, more universal, starting around the same time everywhere. The best example is South Korea. Polls show young Korean men are overwhelmingly conservative, while young women are radically progressive. The gender gap there is wider than in the US. Factors like mandatory military service for men and intense career competition play a role, but the split's onset coincides with America's, and with the smartphone's arrival. Whatever the drivers, they're global, not local. Let's start with our biological hardware. Women evolved in environments where social exclusion meant death. A pregnant woman couldn't hunt, she couldn't fight enemies while caring for an infant. Survival required a community for protection and resources. Millions of years wired into women's genetic memory that being cast out equals certain doom. Men's evolutionary experience differed sharply. Their concerns: multi-day hunts away from the group, exploring territory, battling foes. Natural selection favored men who could handle solitude and prolonged isolation. Men could even survive temporary exile. They evolved for higher risk, independence, and self-reliance in tough spots. This divide persists across modern cultures. Psychologist David Schmidt studied 55 cultures and found consistent patterns: women conform more to others' opinions, are more sensitive to negative stimuli and social rejection signals. Men tolerate disagreement and conflict better. These differences appear in every culture Schmidt examined. Men aren't better than women, or vice versa, natural selection just pressured them differently, leading to distinct adaptations. But it means they react differently to the same conditions. Women endure social pressure worse than men. Now, consider the consensus engine we've built. Social media runs on public opinion. You see others' beliefs in real time. Disagreement is visible, measurable, punishable. Tribes used to be 150 people, now, everyone you've met, plus strangers, watches you constantly. Look at the timelines. Facebook launched in 2004 but stayed campus-only until 2006. The iPhone hit in 2007, Instagram in 2010. That's when social media became inseparable from daily life. Global smartphone sales exploded in the millions. Revisit the charts. In the early 2000s, women's views were stable. The divergence started in 2007 to 2008, accelerating in the 2010s as smartphones saturated households and social media boomed. Women are naturally more liberal, but their radicalization kicked off with smartphones. With smartphones, the consensus engine revved up and started sucking in victims. Teen girls' mental health plummeted almost immediately, per studies. Boys weren't far behind. The female psyche's survival trait, millennia-old, was exploited as a vulnerability, an exploit in their hardware. Social media algorithms aren't designed for women specifically, they optimize for attention. But attention grabbing works better on those more concerned with social opinion and prone to its pressure. Women are generally more receptive and sensitive, so the platforms hit them harder. Plus, there's a feedback loop, women complain more than men online. Scrolling feeds, you'd think women suffer far more. Governments and companies respond to these public outcries to avoid PR disasters. Women are often portrayed as victims. The common fix: create safe spaces excluding conflict. That means suppressing dissent, censoring alternatives, reinforcing consensus. Counterarguments get buried, dissenters banned, the loop closes. Today, about 60% of U.S. college students are women. This makes campus culture overwhelmingly progressive. The education system, which women trust, feeds them a one true ideology without serious opposition, shaping their worldview. Campus polls show constant self-censorship, students voice only acceptable opinions, fearing to share real views. This affects everyone, but women dominate higher ed in fields like humanities, sociology, economics, education, HR, the most ideologized ones, often dismissed as bullshit degrees for their perceived low real-world value. For years surrounded by like-minded peers and professors, uniform reading lists. Dissent isn't just rare, it's punished. Female students learn to toe the party line. Then they graduate into female-dominated fields, HR, media, teaching, healthcare, nonprofits, replicating the monoculture. From 18 to 35, most women rarely encounter disagreement. The feedback loop endures. Men take different paths: trades, engineering, finance, military, fields where results trump consensus, and disagreement is allowed, even rewarded. Monoculture doesn't grip them because they avoid or get pushed out of its institutions. Marriage has collapsed, with worse fallout than realized. Single women vote far more left than married ones, a decades-long trend. Reasons are economic: singles see the state as a source of benefits and subsidies, married women view it as a tax collector. Different incentives yield different views. The married versus single divide is near universal. Marriage stats cratered around our timeline. For men, divorce courts, asset splits, child custody losses, alimony and child support breed distrust of government as an enemy. In shared historical conditions, men and women have divergent interests and problems, hence politics. Algorithms optimize for engagement, emotional response, time spent, clicks, likes, shares, comments. Women respond more to emotional content, manipulable via sad stories. They score higher on neuroticism, sensitivity to negatives. Algorithms learn this: feeds pump fear, outrage, moral panics, dangers, injustices, threats, wars, victims. Men get different content, playing on other emotions. The goal isn't gender division, it's attention farming. Hearts respond to varied stimuli, so feeds diverge. Women end in emotion-based echo chambers, men consume podcasts, forums, war discussions, manosphere content. Feminism has long told women that following biological instincts, wanting marriage and kids, is brainwashing by oppressive patriarchy. Many believed it. Building lives around career, independence, freedom from traditions over family. Now in their 30s, single, they've traded fertility for success and are trapped. They can't admit basing life on false beliefs, losing childbearing to wrong views, that friends who married young were right, or moms nagging about ticking clocks. So they double down, not because convictions are true, but because abandoning them costs too much psychologically. Easier to blame society for not being progressive enough. I've focused on women, but men aren't immune to social media's ills. Their trap differs: women get ideological conformity, men get escapism, porn, video games, online gambling. Women's trap: conform or die socially. Men's, here's endless dopamine replacing real-world building. Men derive pleasure from transforming the world, women from consumption. Different mechanisms, outcomes, women yield to opinion, men go passive. Men's stable politics on the chart isn't psychological health, it's another sickness, disengagement from society instead of immersion. Or perhaps everyone shifted left, but women more. But men's line isn't flat anymore. 2024 data shows them shifting right. Young men are more traditionalist than before. I think women fell first and fast, more susceptible to consensus pressure. Men resisted longer, less sensitive and less embedded in institutions. But as mainstream media broadcast men are the problem, and pushed them out via toxic masculinity lies, men reacted by veering right. Passivity turned oppositional, disengagement became active resistance. This doesn't mean men are right or free, it's another tailored trap. Andrew Tate and the manosphere didn't arise randomly. They're exploits for male vulnerabilities. Now the lines diverge, the consensus engine pulls genders opposite ways, toward separate pits. Some blame education, women dominate liberal monoculture universities. But that doesn't explain the 2007 start or cross-country consistency despite varied systems. Others cite economics, young men's struggles breed conservative resentment. Partly true, but hardships predated the rightward shift, while women's leftism rose amid their economic gains. The problem is multifaceted. Biological hardware differences, sensitivity to opinion. Tech trigger, smartphones, algorithmic feeds. Institutional capture, liberal universities, female-heavy careers. Economic shifts, marriage as death, state's expanded role. Ideological lock-in, high costs of abandoning beliefs, social punishment for defection. Not one cause, an interconnected system hitting one gender faster, harder. The divide will grow until mechanisms fail. But how? Systems self-reinforce. Institutions won't self-reform, platform owners won't stop attention optimizing, campus ideology won't yield. Male manosphere resistance won't yield positives. Some women escape, especially via childbirth, reality antidotes ideology. Those outside institutions too. Some men quit endless scrolling and disengagement, those finding real creation, tiring of simulations. But the system devours the rest. We built a global consensus machine and applied it to a dimorphic species with psychological sex differences. It subdued women first, more consensus vulnerable, then men via other means. I don't know how it ends. No one does. It might not. The consensus engine keep running.